What's good, friends? Chris coming back at you for another video today to talk about a creator I just found by the name of Deya. I gotta start by saying, how dare you create such incredible content, because it's a wake-up call for a lot of you entrepreneurs who are out there hustling. I know it's a little bit ironic because I just finished making a video from a guy by the name of Alex Hormozi, who is literally the epitome of hustle culture. Yesterday, I was recommended to go watch Deya's video, a day in the life of a cozy entrepreneur.
This is a day in the life of a soft, cozy entrepreneur with a business that generates over 6 figures a year in revenue.
You got me. You got me with cozy entrepreneur. This creator is going against the grain of just about everything that we're being bombarded with on a daily basis from creators just like Alex Hormozi. Hustle culture really comes down to just a push for more. Capitalism, yeah. After watching the video, I had 8 huge takeaways that are more or less reminders of things that I'm trying to implement in my own life and be consistent with the lifestyle that I want to live. So in this video, we're going to go through all those lessons, and I'm going to share a little bit more about this creator. If you haven't already, go check her out. I put the link in the description. Go follow Deya right now. So the first thing is zero shame. She talks about how she has a zero shame policy and goes into a bit of detail about how that qualifies in her world.
Zero shame policy. So essentially, casual shames are things like if you get up a little bit later and you start work a little bit later. I used to say things like, why are you starting work so late? You're already behind. You know, there are people who wake up at 6 a.m., at 5 a.m. and start work then. They're getting so much more done than you.
The big takeaway for me, and there were 2 of them, but the first was self-respect. It really comes down to loving yourself and to honoring the fact that you don't need to have urgency for everything. The concept that we're available 24/7 with a phone at our side is kind of ridiculous, and it's a new idea. It used to be that if you called somebody and they didn't answer, you would have to leave what's called a voicemail, and you'd have to wait for somebody to get back to you. They just weren't answering the phone. So it's a very new idea to be able to literally contact somebody at any time from anywhere instantly. So the idea is that we're basically respecting our time and having constraints and boundaries for what we do. The no shame piece of it came down to just treating yourself the way that you would treat your best friend in business. Don't be a dick, basically. Having a baby has really put some light onto this for me. There's stuff that's way more important than just working all the time. And although I love and appreciate people like Alex Hormozi who go out and promote hustle culture and say you should work if you love what you do, and it works for me, so don't worry about what I do. I love that authenticity, and Deya is no different. She's just as authentic, and in fact, in the video, she was talking about how she's listening to $100 million leads.
This is what I'm listening to right now.
Which I thought was so hysterical, but also super cool. Before we go into the next part of this video, can you just go ahead and like this video if you've watched this far? I mean, you might as well like it. So that YouTube knows that, that you liked it, and then it helps me in the YouTube algorithm, so go ahead. The next takeaway was while she was going through her day, I think she was like going to a cafe or something, but she talked about optimization, and this is a big lesson that a lot of us as entrepreneurs can learn, and I think we're starting to see a bigger push towards this, but it's optimizing for what? Turn down for what? I think we very often optimize for the wrong thing, and in this example, she talks about how we optimize for money, and very often if you're doing that, you're gonna get more money. But at what cost? Pun intended and welcomed, booyakasha. The dad jokes just happened now, friends. I'm sorry, it just happens. Optimizing for your life and lifestyle can be a tremendous way to not only free up your time, but reduce the amount of stress that you have, and at the same time, believe it or not, actually make you way more money and work with way better clients. So this is a very tough practice if you're in your first couple of years, or you're just getting started, or you're not making much money. Just say no to clients that aren't aligned with your values. But this was a wonderful reminder about optimizing for the things that you actually want, rather than just optimizing to make more money. The video goes on to come back and talk about a reading nook, which clearly Deya is a cat person, respect to that. In addition, she filmed a whole bunch of TikTok videos. I think she filmed like 10, which is crazy to me. 10 TikToks in 1 hour is absolute madness. I'd love to see her workflow if you're watching this video. The constraint lesson that came up was that enough is enough. I don't think we look at the idea that enough is, well, it's enough, and we're often just optimizing for more, and that's kind of the leading idea in our culture, especially here in North America. We're always geared to do more and more and more and optimize for more and more and more. Not to say that there isn't benefit in going after as much as you can get and hustling and pursuing things that you love and enjoy. But I think there comes a point where enough can be reached, and I think we can all create a more sustainable life by simply knowing what our limits are and what we don't want to do. And so this was a great lesson in enough. Another really good one that she brought up was the big three. If you're familiar with just about any type of productivity or scheduling system, you'll know that having 3 big priorities that move the needle forward is a great way to shortcut kind of the effort that you're spending each day. It's too easy to get caught up in daily tasks, and I was listening to a podcast recently where they talked about how you can easily get caught into your email inbox and be spending an entire day, 8 hours, just replying to email. Unfortunately, email doesn't always result in our business growing quickly, and so something like creating 10 TikToks in 1 hour is a very efficient way of spending your time. That could potentially lead to thousands or tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of views and exposure for her brand. So it's just a much better use of time, and I think that it's a great lesson that we can all take away. Pick your big 3 priorities the day before, the week before. Heck, if you can even get into a 12-week year. I digress. That's a whole other video. But I do want to emphasize the benefit of focusing on just 3 most important things that you can do each day to move your business forward. Okay, and one more thing before we continue through this video. I appreciate you being here so much. Y'all are rock stars, and I would love, if you're enjoying this video and you like hearing about other creators that are doing cool stuff, if you love storytelling, if you're into marketing and business and self-employment and entrepreneurship and money and mindset and marketing. I know, that was a lot, but you might consider subscribing to this channel so that you can never miss when I upload another video, but that's it for now. We'll go into the next. The last lesson for me was one of the most important ones, and she talked about like life is more important than the outcome or the business or the money. And it was that there was a detachment from the outcome, and this is where I think Deya's authenticity really shines through. She talked about, getting value from your time and not overemphasizing the time that you spend at work and creating detachment there, setting hard boundaries with time and just being really clear about like what you will do and what you won't. Most people just say yes to everything, and it unfortunately wraps them up into this manic sort of effort moving forward to grow their business, and then what often happens is that they end up spending their tires and not making any money at all. And that sucks. The last and final piece that I really loved was about identity, and talking about how the pillars of her identity are not necessarily tied to her productivity or to her business. There are multiple layers and multiple facets of her identity that give her value and self-worth. It doesn't always have to be about how much you can accomplish or how famous you are, how many followers you have. It really just ties back to like the quality of the work that you're doing and the variety of things that bring you joy and how often you spend time doing them. I love spending time with my daughter and relaxing, just hanging out outside, being barefoot in the grass, going for walks, spending time in nature. I want to optimize my business to be able to do more of the things that I love. Deya's channel surprised me. I'm delighted. I'm very fortunate to have found this creator. Not only am I now a subscriber, but it's refreshing to see a young Gen Z creator who's actually living a life based on principles and developing values for the way that they operate in the world. It's not just about hustle and business, and clearly she's doing really well. At the very beginning of her video, she flashed a screen talking about how she's making 6 figures a year, and truth is she's making probably about $150,000 a year on average, which is, again, very impressive. In today's day and age, 100K doesn't go very far, and I want to encourage everybody who's watching this video, if you haven't already stepped into your first $100,000 a year, it is possible. Go check out her channel for more resources about how to get started with freelancing. And I know this video ended up being a lot longer than I thought it was going to be, but there are a lot of really great takeaways that we can get from that video. I linked it below this video. If you haven't already, go follow Deya. Strongly encourage everybody who's on my very small list to go and subscribe to her. She's got a really cool channel, and I'm gonna go probably binge a couple videos from her channel right now. So that's it for this one, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.